somebody says, oh, you're such a demanding boss, such a demanding parent, or such a demanding teacher, you should celebrate that. Why? Welcome to Thank God It's a Story Saturday, a weekly video series where I share stories with you that you can use to make your messages connect. Today's story is from one of my favorite books, Grit by Angela Duckworth. And the story is about Steve Young, legendary quarterback and twice named the most valuable player for National Football League. Steve says that his parents were his foundation, and good parenting is something he wishes that everyone could have. He says, I was quite a celebrated player in high school, and then I got recruited by Brigham University as their eighth string quarterback. He says, between me and the play stood seven other quarterbacks. And my coach didn't know who I was, so he put me into this hamburger squad. These were the people who were not the main players, but created like these dummy environments for the main players to practice. Every day was horrible. He says, I called my father and I said, Dad, it's horrible. I want to come back. I want to quit. He says, my father said to me, you can quit if you want, but you're not coming back because I don't want to live with the quitter. And you know that since you were young. With no choice left, he says, I started to become the first to come to practice and last to leave. And when the formal practice would be over, I would practice on my own from the beginning of January to the end of February. I threw 10,000 spirals. My arm hurt. I practiced that much. And within the next year, I went from being eighth quarterback to second quarterback. In his senior years, Steve received the Davy O'Brien Award for the most outstanding quarterback in the country. Now, when you listen to this story, you think tough love really works. But when the author of this book talked to Steve's father, who prefers to be called Grit, his name is Grit Young, he says that, of course I remember those moments, but I also remember moments when Steve's mom sat in a classroom with Steve for months because he was not comfortable going to school. Steve himself says that I remember once being bullied and then looking up to find my mother standing right next to me with the purse in her hand and grabbing the guy who was bullying me and telling him, you're not to do that to Steve. I also have a memory of my father actually gently listening to me and asking me why I didn't like to go to school. What is the point? The point is that being demanding is not wrong as long as you are supportive at the same time. Demanding and supportive are not mutually exclusive, but together they create wonderful, wonderful parenting, leadership. And I think if someone calls you demanding, then you should celebrate that. Stay storied. I'll see you here next Saturday with another story.